something we're talking about at the time, raise your hand. We might not call on you, but at the same time, we're going to try to keep it interactive. Instead of just having questions at the end like a lot of panels, we'll break it up, let you guys ask questions. Got a mic up here front. Come on up, ask the question. Kelly's right here, our lovely Gilgamesh. She's going to be running back and forth, and if you guys want to ask a question, she'll handle some of that. But pretty much, we're here to answer your questions. We get a lot of frequently asked questions, so we're going to run through a bunch of stuff first, and then we'll get into it. Like I said, if you guys are good and you guys promise to behave, don't behave. We're going to show you guys something that hasn't been released yet. I'll show you a little bit of the video, maybe all of it, maybe. And the actual object is behind me. So we'll show you, it is our heaviest piece we've ever made on Man-at-Arms. That's all I'm saying. We do like to talk, so we will be rambling on a lot. Ilya likes to talk a lot more than me. So if you guys find a way to get him to, every once in a while, by asking a question, that would be great. Show of hands real quick, and don't be shy and don't lie. How many of you have watched Man-at-Arms? Okay, maybe I should do it the other way. How many of you have not watched Man-at-Arms? And it's fine if you haven't. Cool. Well, welcome. If you guys don't know what we do, we pretty much make weapons from anime, video games, comic books, other, popular genres, and put them up on YouTube and show you guys how we make them. There's a lot of struggles we go through. Most of the stuff you guys ask is like stupid huge, or does some sort of transformation or magic thing that we can't make happen. So we try to find a happy medium and do the most far out requests that we possibly can. A lot of the things that we made in the last 2 seasons, we said absolutely not seasons before. For instance, Mihawk, we were like, no, we're not making Mihawk. This is ridiculous. We can't, the blade's great, but the guard's longer than the blade. We can't, well, we did it. We said we wouldn't do anything with Berserk. We did it. There's been plenty of other things that I've said no to that I can't talk about because they haven't aired yet. Right now we have 4 or 5 episodes in the queue. We'll be starting filming on yet another season next week. So we do 6 episodes at a time. We get about 10 days to do them. And one of the 10 days is just the demo and beauty shot day. So we really only have 9 build days, and only 7 of them are on camera. So we have a weekend in the middle where the crew isn't allowed to work because of contracts and whatnot. So we're just, play catch up over the weekend if we need that time, catch up, and then we leave for the film crew like enough to. We don't want to make big jumps and then everybody go, how'd they do that? Every once in a while we have to, sorry, there are some processes. But a lot of the processes that get cut out aren't our fault too. A lot of the processes are just in the editing. Like for instance, anybody watch the Assassin's Creed one that we just put out, the cane sword? There's a couple things that you didn't get to see, like how we put a hole in the cane to make the sword fit. We filmed that, but it didn't make it to the final cut. How we did do that is we drilled a center hole and then we used a blade that was a similar size and shape, got it red hot and burnt that wood in so it fit, and then we waxed the inside. Anyway, that's just one of the examples on time. So I guess we're ready to go. It's 4:30 exactly. I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple brief, how we both got into this, area of work, and how we both came to be on Man-at-Arms. So I'll let Ilya start.
Oh, hello. Everybody hears me? Yep, excellent. All right, well, I got into metalwork because in Russian middle school we had shop class. They show us how to do lathing, grinding, so on and so forth. I got involved with the medieval reenactment group back in Russia when I moved to the United States, and in 2003 got involved with the American medieval reenactment group. Then I needed to go to graduate school, went to our good old American University, somewhere around that direction. After that, when you're in graduate school, you need a job that provides you with your own schedule. So I asked Kerry Stagmeyer, whom I already did a demo before at one of his hammer-ins, whether I can use his shop to make armor. And once you have armor customers, they don't leave because armor takes a long time to make. And I essentially stayed there until the Man-at-Arms opportunity came about. Well, the Man-at-Arms opportunity came about because Tony Swatton was getting too busy with his other projects and needed to leave the show for some time. So here we are.
Can we get the house lights up just a little? Someone? Just a little bit. I don't mind the mood, it's kind of fun, but kind of want to see something. There you go, that's good,
Okay.
thank you.
I can actually see people's faces. Nice. Okay, you.
You're done that quick?
Yeah, I'm done that quick
Holy
this time.
crap, you guys are lucky.
I practiced in front of the mirror at home.
So, one of the most frequently asked questions people ask is, how did you become a blacksmith? How'd you get into this? For me, it was kind of a mistake, more or less. I was studying to be an engineer through high school and early in college. And in high school, before I even got my driver's license, I needed a job. I was 15. And my brother, Kerry, if you guys watch the show, he's the older guy who does a lot. Anyway, he owned the business, bottle knife and sword, and it was a very basic business back then, made very elementary swords and armor. And because of that, he always had rusty armor laying around. So I just basically, for the first year that I worked there, when I was 15 to 16, wire-wheeled rusty armor. By the time I was done cleaning up the pile, I'd have to start back over, do that, and sweep floors, stuff like that. And I kind of got stuck in it. I loved it. I took every art class that I could in high school, every tech ed, anything that, clay, anything you could do artistically or, with your hands, I did. So it just kind of fell into that. I loved it. It's hard working with your brother. Anybody who has siblings, I mean, me and my brother, we get along. We're very different. The age gap makes some things easier, makes some things a lot harder. In the beginning of the business, when I first started with him, he was very historically based on what he wanted to make. And I always wanted to make the far out, wacky fantasy stuff. And now all of a sudden that's completely switched. Like I don't really have a lot of, I'm talking our basic products, not Man-at-Arms. I have more of a historical interest. And he has more of the fantasy because it's easier to sell fantasy stuff, believe it or not. We sell primarily to the Renaissance festivals, and I'm blabbering more than he did now, so I feel bad. But basically, that's how I got started in that. And it's been a long ride. It's my 17th year doing this. I'm pretty young to say that I've been making swords for 17 years, so I'm kind of happy about that. Have a lot of experience. I grind 90% of the blades that come out of bottle knife sword, maybe a higher percent. Ilya does most of our forging these days, Damascus swords, stuff like that. But he also is now grinding to help me a little bit. Demand is insane for even non-Man-at-Arms related stuff. He's worried that I'm going to blow an elbow out or something one day, and I probably will. I don't really have a younger brother to take my spot, and I don't have kids yet, so I don't know what we're going to do when my elbows go, but you guys keep requesting the giant thing, so I think you want my elbows to go. Yeah, that's a brief intro. Anybody have any related questions to how we got into it or anything like that? I see somebody raising a hand, or is that just like a weapon? Or roses? I see roses. Okay. Love you too.
All right.
Hey, go ahead.
How were you guys approached? Like, I know there was like a series before you guys, but like, was there like, did you guys put a request in or something to be on the
All right.
show, or they approached you?
That's kind of a two-part answer. Tony Swatton was the original host. His shop is in LA, it's Sword and Stone. I've known Tony now since 2006. I met him at a pirate convention in New Orleans. I used to do a lot of pirate reenacting. And,
Around the shop, we call it the Pirate Pride Parade.
Yeah, pirate, whatever. So I met him in New Orleans, thought it was really cool. He made the Blade sword from the movie Blade, and he made, Jack Sparrow sword, stuff like that. So I was like, wow, Tony Swatton, wow. So we became friends really quick. One of his former employees, named Natasha, I met her, and we kind of clicked. And I live here on the East Coast; she lives in LA, so I planned a trip to go out and spend some time with her. And I touched base with Tony and said, hey, we're filming season 4 of Man-at-Arms. I could really use a hand, because it really was him. He was the only real talent on that show, and then he had some really low-level help. Unlike our shop where we have 6 people or more that all can pretty much step in and do anything. So he was always really grateful to have help. So I sat in on season 4. The meteorite sword, I was there for that. I cut up the meteorite. It took me 8 hours just to cut that freaking meteorite in little slivers, no lie. I was there for Leona's sword, which was a favorite of mine. I played League of Legends. Any other League of Legends players?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's why we do a lot of League of Legends, because me and Carrie both play a lot of League of Legends, and we have a good rapport with Riot. So they put the episodes in the game and stuff for us, even for a couple hours is cool with them. So, I love it. They're cool. So we try to work with them as possible. Anyway, so I did season 4. Really liked it. I enjoyed being on camera. I didn't get a lot of screen time, which is okay, but I was like, hey, this is really cool. Had fun out in LA, and then I came back here, and then Tony kind of reached out and said, hey, I'm not doing the show anymore. And we were like, oh, really? Why not? Blah, blah, blah. And that was the last we heard of it. A couple months go by. We find out that the Man-at-Arms producers are now fishing to every sword shop in the country, like begging somebody to take over this show. And everybody who thought they could do it, they got in contract talks, like, yeah, do it. And they're like, well, wait a minute, what do you want us to make again? And we're like, things like the Buster Sword. And they're like, oh, no, we can't do it. So literally, each person they asked, and this is no lie, said, really the only guys that can do it is Baller Knife and Sword. The only shop crazy enough to try this stuff with a talented team that can do it and really work that fast. Because it's not that can a sword maker make these things. Almost any talented sword maker can make these creations. But can they make 6 of them in 7 or 8 days? There's not too many people. So it just naturally fell into, in our hands. Brent Leidick, who is our main producer, he called me and said, hey, we'd really like you guys to do this. And we said, okay, we negotiated things out, and next thing we knew, they sent a film crew out, and that's how we're doing this.
Well, in terms of the timeline, for example, Peter Lyon designed all the swords for Lord of the Rings series and Hobbit, right? It takes him a long time. He owns his shop, but it takes him a long time to design one sword. Now, think about those 7-10 days when you're interrupted what you're doing for 10 minutes of filming, there's 20 minutes of camera setup, and you cannot do any forging when they're setting up the camera. So there's actually half of the time only spent working, because you have to get the lighting, you have to get the audio, you have to get the camera angles, then the camera guy complains that the lens is wrong, and then the camera is...
You do some crazy great forging. Hey, can you guys do that again? We didn't get the shot we want. No.
Oh, and it's annoying. I mean, we started doing that. I started lying to the camera guy. Like, well, this is the one-time thing. If you either got it or you don't. I lie to them now because, you gotta keep them in check. Otherwise, you
guys gotta step up your game.
Well, whatever. I suppose you came here to see some of the things we made and hear us talk about it, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, I got it.
I do want to add before he breaks out a bunch of stuff. With the film crew that we work with, we've been approached to do many different shows for, Nat Geo and Discovery and all that. And most of the producers and most of the production companies out there are just... they're all about the drama. They all want, Orange County Choppers. They all want me and Carrie to yell at each other on camera and that kind of stuff. We're really blessed to work with a good production company. They do stuff, Defy Media. They do, you ever seen Honest Trailers, anybody? I love Honest Trailers. They do Honest Trailers. They do Smosh Games. What else do they do? Whatever. Screen Junkies. Movie fights. Anybody watch all that stuff? So same guys. A lot of the guys that you see on the camera doing that stuff are actually our producers. So we really lucked out and found the right company. Don't get me wrong. There's always going to be headaches. It's LA. I don't want to offend anybody who's from LA. But I go out there a lot. You run into some egos and people that are stuck in their ways, and we work with different producers almost every other season. So it's like you get used to one, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna send somebody else out, and it's like, you gotta use them, new camera guy, never been in a crazy situation, shop like us, dangerous, sparks, pointy things, that kind of thing. So it is a struggle, but we are really blessed to work with Defy. check out any of their other shows if you like our show, because they do a really good job, and their goal isn't, I mean, of course they're a company, they're trying to make money, but they're really trying to pinpoint, you know, their specific target audience and give you guys what you guys want to see. That's why we make things based on requests. We don't, every once in a while Lilia might go, hey, you know, I love this, I really want to make this, and we push for it, but what are you doing? I see too many smiles and I'm not being funny, so. All right, I'll shut up. Go ahead, Ilya.
Well, okay. Is there a walking mic here? No? Yeah.
It walks.
Okay,
Stand like a
launch.
Here, I'll do it.
Damn it! Okay.
He's really pretty. He's very pretty.
So. Right? Okay. Now, people are complaining there are runes on it now. See? Actually, in the series, the runes between the games and the series different. So I just signed my name in hiragana. So there. And in the series, the runes essentially mean who made it, and who made it is no mortal. So, but there are actually two Excaliburs. This one's mine. The reason for that is we wanted a cosplayer for the episode. I even shipped Excalibur early to California to have the cosplayer. Didn't happen. Okay, well, I made second one for myself, same exact way. It's mine now. So it's going to be at essentially every convention we go to.
I would just like to
Because
state that I made the handle. That's the prettiest part. It's blue, nice, it's wood. It's very nice shape, very comfortable. I'm just saying, I mean, that's my favorite part.
Now,
Bleed's all right.
we'd like to have objects shipped to us. It doesn't always happen. So in the future, be on the watch out. We might start making brother items from series that we made. For example, Scissor Blade, we might decide on our own to make the second one and just have it at convention. We might not.
Do it.
Okay, well, not everybody at once. Just a little bit of optimism. However, YouTube comments. In the YouTube comments, people always say, wow, real swords don't flex. Yes, they do. Real swords, blah, 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 big, cut through everything, blah, blah. I can stop a train with my katana. Right? Yeah, I'm not gonna, my brain can't contain the amount of stupidity because it cannot categorize itself, and something that is not categorizable is not understandable, and if it's nonsense, you can't understand it by definition. However, there's an interesting aspect to this. Fantasy weapons are fantasy. They are essentially digital in kinetic sculptures. They're sculptures because most of the animation right now is three-dimensional. Right? If an art object is three-dimensional, it's a sculpture. It's kinetic because it's moving. It's actually in a way interactive, especially if you're using it in a video game, because you are the player that's interacting with the sculpture. Now, the fact that it's digital means laws of physics don't really apply. Conservation of mass, conservation of momentum. If you play RPGs, you can contain a whole bunch of rocks in your inventory. Yeah, no, the Spetsnaz train with backpacks full of bricks, and those inventories contain more. Now, however, fantasy weapons are designed to inspire you, wow you. They're supposed to capture you in such a way that you play this video game instead of the next one. Well, for example, I love anime. And the reason why I love anime is I love the design. Actually, the best way to win me to watch an anime is to look at the artwork, how people solve a specific aesthetic solution. Aesthetics sometimes even trumps ethics if you are in the medium of art. Right? We enjoy great art that bothers us, that shocks us. That's called abject art in modern art, right? And the reason why we enjoy it because it has aesthetic value, and we are wowed by items that cannot be done in real life. This is actually, in a way, for a sword maker, it's horrible. I love it, but it's horrible. And the only reason why it's horrible is the guard. Now, what the designers of the Fate Stay Night Excalibur did, they took a Japanese sword construction and built a Western sword. This, in the series, is the kashira, essentially a cap that protects the wood. This is a habaki that has a double shoulder and the blade rests on it. Now, this is a horrible construction for Western swords. It's a good construction for Japanese swords because the Japanese sword is only the blade and not the fittings. The fittings are like the Sunday outfit, and each sword has several sets of them.